welcome to Edge 2019. These are such interesting times that we live in. On the one hand, we are being assured that the human race has never had it better. There are fewer people living in extreme poverty. More girls now finish primary school than ever before. People are living longer, healthier lives. On the other hand, we have also never seen so much publicly expressed anguish and angst by both the young and the old about the state of the world. We have 16-year-old Greta Thunberg confront the most powerful people in the world about the lack of action on climate change. As someone born in the 60s, I've never before felt like I am in the dock for not preserving and nurturing the planet for the coming generations. We also have the traditionally privileged classes in the West feeling threatened by immigrants, and many scores of people being displaced and thrown out of their homes on account of their differentness. Finally, in a highly connected, social media-fueled world, the young feel increasingly insecure and unhappy about their future prospects. How does one explain this state of affairs? I read somewhere that this possibly has to do with the tremendous increase in the us versus them narratives. And these us versus them narratives are rooted in identity. In psychology, identity is the qualities, beliefs, personality, looks, and/or expressions that make a person or a group. The similarity in belief systems enables us to attach ourselves with a collective of individuals. So feminism is an identity. Being a marathoner is an identity. The label Hindu is an identity. In order for an identity to exist, its opposite must also exist. Ideally, one hopes for constructive resolution of us versus them battles through healthy debate and criticism. But when identity is involved at scale, the objective moves from what is right and what is just to whatever it takes to destroy the opposite, because the collective identity has assumed complete primacy. We need to look no further than Twitter or the current news cycle to see how unfruitful and dangerous these kinds of battles becoming. So the fear today is that in this cacophony, we cannot hear the rational voices. Only the ones that are loud or relentless or sometimes absurd or radical are the ones that come through. But today I want to take you through some great poetry that use satire and humor to push through some profound truths. We only need to pay attention to hear them. I don't mean to say that they kickstarted movements or organizations in strong opposition to the regimes of the day. But their voice, through their poetry, provided for pause and introspection, and in many cases hit an emotional core in many people. What I am presenting is but a small sample, and I'm sure that I'm doing great disservice to many great poets, both Indian and foreign. Indeed, there are many different forms of voice used over centuries to seed the idea of change, to launch movements of protest, or to simply provoke thought and action. But these are my favorite ones and are most relevant in the Indian context. Here's the first one. Those of you who have an interest in ghazals will remember this one made famous by Ghulam Ali.
हंगामा है क्यों बरपा थोड़ी सी जो पीली है हंगामा है क्यों बरपा थोड़ी सी जो पीली है डाका डाका तो नहीं डाला, डाका तो नहीं डाला, चोरी तो नहीं की है, हंगामा है क्यों बरपा, थोड़ी सी जो पीली है.
The poet Akbar Allahabadi wrote this in the 1910s, and he was writing about much more than the pleasures of imbibing alcohol. In reality, this was a humorous rebuke to his detractors who accused him of being given alcohol by the Hindus. The Muslim League had begun to exert its independent approach to interacting with the British, much against the wishes of the Congress Party. And Allahabadi, who hoped for Hindu-Muslim unity, intended this piece as a response to those insinuations. This next poem is about the partition of India. British barrister Sir Cyril Ratcliffe arrived in India for the first time on July 5th, 1947. He had exactly 5 weeks to draw the borders between an independent India and the newly created Pakistan. He chaired 2 boundary commissions, one for Punjab, one for Bengal, and the resulting boundary award was announced on August 17, 1947. Partition along the Ratcliffe line ended in violence that killed 1 million people and displaced 12 million. Ratcliffe burnt his papers, refused his 40,000 rupee fee, and left once and for all. Was Ratcliffe biased? Was he ill-informed? Here's one of the best criticisms of Ratcliffe and his 1947 job by the poet W.H. Auden in Partition.
Unbiased at least he was when he arrived on his mission. Having never set eyes on this land, he was called to partition. Between 2 peoples fanatically at odds, with their different diets and incompatible gods. Time, they had briefed him in London, is short. It's too late for mutual reconciliation or rational debate. The only solution now lies in separation. The Viceroy thinks, as you will see from his letter, that the less you are seen in his company, the better. So we've arranged to provide you with other accommodation. We can give you 4 judges, 2 Muslim and 2 Hindu, but the final decision must rest with you. Shut up in a lonely mansion with police night and day, patrolling the gardens to keep assassins away, he got down to work, to the task of settling the fate of millions. The maps at his disposal were out of date, and the census returns almost certainly incorrect, but there was no time to check them, no time to inspect contested areas. The weather was frightfully hot, and a bout of dysentery kept him constantly on the trot. But in 7 weeks it was done. The frontiers decided. A continent, for better or worse, divided. The next day he sailed for England, where he quickly forgot the case, as a good lawyer must. Return he would not, afraid, as he told his club, that he might get shot.
The third example is from one of my favorite poets, Sahir Ludhianvi. His work continues to be relevant and enjoys great public interest. Part of the progressive movement, post-independence, he was anti-war, opposed the excesses of the colonial capitalistic system, the exploitation of farmers and workers, and he cared particularly about gender equality. His reverence for Pandit Nehru and his socialist vision for India did not prevent him from penning his angst in these beautiful poetic expressions. In fact, this next poem is possibly also a tongue-in-cheek response to Iqbal's famous 1904 poem and the Indian anthem of opposition to the British Raj, Sare Jahan Se Acha, Hindustan Hamara.
चीन अरब हमारा, हिंदुस्तान हमारा, रहने को घर नहीं है, सारा जहां हमारा, हिंदुस्तान हमारा.
Or even this very famous piece from Pyasa.
ये तख्तों ये ताजों की दुनिया ये इंसान के दुश्मन समाजों की दुनिया ये महलों ये तख्तों ये ताजों की दुनिया ये इंसान के दुश्मन समाजों की दुनिया ये दौलत के भूखे रवाजों की दुनिया ये दुनिया अगर मिल भी जाए तो क्या है ये दुनिया अगर मिल भी जाए तो क्या है.
The 60s were marked by the disappointment of the Indo-China War, followed by Nehru's death. Then there were the wounds of partition that had not yet healed. The future didn't seem very bright. Sahir showed us the mirror, but also gave the message of hope and optimism. His snug romanticism, coupled with the coming dawn that would take care of all of our ills, appealed to the young people of that generation. His words have the potential to inspire the young generation of today as well, as seen in this piece.
वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी इन काली सदियों के सर से जब रात का आंचल ढलकेगा जब दुख के बादल पिघलेंगे जब सुख का सागर छलकेगा जब अंबर झूम के नाचेगा जब धरती नगमे गाएगी वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी.
And then there's Humsafar. Everyone who loves Pakistani serials only knows this as the title of a highly popular TV drama.
कि वो हम सफ़र था मगर उससे हम नवाई न थी वो हम सफ़र था मगर उससे हम नवाई न थी कि धूप छाँव का आलम रहा जुदाई न थी कि धूप छाँव का आलम रहा जुदाई न थी कि अदावतें थीं तगाफुल था रंजिशें थी मगर अदावतें थीं तगाफुल था रंजिशें थी मगर बिछड़ने वाले में सब कुछ था बेवफाई न थी.
This was written by Naseer Turabi, the poet who actually rendered this, who was born in British India but migrated to Pakistan after partition. However, there's much more to the lyrics than we heard and understood. He wrote this on 16th December 1971 when he broke into tears on hearing about the fall of Dhaka during the Bangladesh Liberation War. This was a deeply emotional matter to the people of West Pakistan who had seen their Humsafar, or East Pakistan, as Bangladesh was originally named, being separated from them, and their vision of a Pak Mulk being shattered. In today's world of high interconnectedness, we have artists, we have performers of all kinds, not just poets, who have used their talent to express their anger, anguish, or pain. There is an unusual group of writers, the Mia poets of Assam, who are a loose collective of scholars, teachers, and others whose poems challenge prejudice against Bengali-origin Muslim migrants in the state. So voice is an incredibly powerful tool in social change. Poets, authors, artists, even stand-up comedians have used it as a powerful tool against injustice. Shelley called poets unacknowledged legislators of the world. We have a powerful array of speakers today who, through their work, have thrown the spotlight on our society and helped move the needle towards a better tomorrow. While the absolutely fabulous Edge Talks feature 4 of our NGO leaders, please do take the opportunity today to meet with each of our inspiring NGO partners in the room. We have Safina, Aparna, Gopi, and Sainath truly reflect the power of one idea, one passion, one vision that can create great organizations, great change, and great impact. Gunita's 1947 partition archives and Swati's superb film, Rubaru Roshni, are great examples in this regard. Both address the aftermath of a tumultuous and conflict-creating event in a nation's life, in Gunita's case, and in people's lives in Swati's case. Forgiveness is built into both by spotlighting the humanity in all of us. These are great attempts to use the documentation of history and filmmaking to nurture the idea of peaceful coexistence between two groups of people with a long record of violence and antipathy towards each other. So when people around the world despair and cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel, it is these people who help bring back hope and optimism. For surely with people as selfless and inspirational as these, we can't but believe that being a small part of their journey will help build a better tomorrow. Sahir said, "Wo subha kabhi to aayegi." After the dark night, there is dawn. But Sahir also said, "Wo subha hum hi se aayegi." So, things may look bad, but the future is always bright, as long as there are women and men of goodwill who aspire to create a better future. Wo subha hum hi se aayegi. Thank you.